how to use Binance P2P. That's peer-to-peer or person-to-person. You would be trading crypto directly with another person. So Binance would act as the escrow service, holding that crypto until the transfer is completed between bank accounts. And in this video, we're going to walk through that entire process. We're going to go over what is Binance P2P, how to buy using Binance P2P, how to sell on Binance P2P, how to become a Binance P2P merchant, and how to stay safe. We'll be doing a full walkthrough using the Binance app. If you don't already have the Binance app, there will be a link in the description. And if you also want to support this video and more great content from Binance, please feel free to hit that like button now. What is Binance P2P? Binance P2P, peer-to-peer, person-to-person, allows you to trade crypto directly from your bank account or with cash with another person. Now, there are different options and payment services and currency supported through the Binance platform. You just have to find which merchant is right for you, and I'm going to explain that when we walk through the process of what everything means when selecting a merchant. With the Binance P2P platform, there are no fees, but merchants set their own exchange rates. So you might spend $10 to get $9 worth of cryptocurrency. It really depends on the rate that they are offering, and when there are a lot of merchants, the rates get more competitive, and these rates will vary depending on which payment methods your account supports and which currency you want to trade in. Now, let's get started. How to buy crypto on Binance P2P from the app. On the homepage, you see this big box here, P2P trading. We can select that, but let's say it's not available. No problem. Go back and select more. And in the trade section, we should see P2P. Now we are in the P2P menu, and there are two sides to this. There's P2P and P2P Express. To see this drop down, you just have to select the little arrow at the top left of your screen. Express just allows you to trade immediately with another merchant. It just automatically picks the merchant with the best rate. And you would have to set your settings as far as currency and available payment methods just so you can actually initiate that trade. This video will go through the more advanced P2P feature. Express does make it easier, but we also want to understand the entire process, and we're going to do that with P2P. So back at the P2P page, let's start off at the top right. You see USD. That is the currency I have set. I'm going to select that, and you can see there are a lot of different currencies supported by Binance P2P. I'm going to stick to USD because that's how I can trade at the moment, and that is what we're going to use for this example. You can pick your currency, and depending on what your currency is, you might have a few different options. For example, PHP, the Philippine peso, supports SLP, Smooth Love Potion, one of the in-game rewards from Axie Infinity. But that's not for everybody. That one is specifically for PHP, and for our trades, we're going to use USD, the US dollar. Now, next thing you want to do is set up your payment methods. So at the top right, select these three dots, and we should see payment methods, and we want to add whatever payment methods we can support. The more payment methods, the more options you have, and the more merchants you'll see, potentially getting you better rates. I already have two payment methods here, but if I wanted to add one, add a payment method. Next up, we see the recommended payment methods in the country I am registered in, but we want to see everything, so select all payment methods at the bottom. And you can see there are a lot of different payment methods, so very likely Binance will support that. Now that you've set up your payment method, now we want to filter by that payment method. So you can see there are a lot of merchants here, and they all accept different payment methods, but we want to work with the one we have. I'm going to open up the filter at the top right, and then we should see our payment methods and the country and regions. We can see more if we select this dropdown, and now I can see a lot of different payment methods. For this example, I'm going to use Zelle. And yes just means confirm. Those are the settings I want for my filter. And now we can see the different merchants that are available to buy cryptocurrency. And when we buy cryptocurrency from someone, that is us going to transfer our currency, in this example, US dollars, from my bank account to that other person's bank account. And in exchange, I will be buying cryptocurrency, and it would be USDT. Now, there are several options available. There's USDT, Bitcoin, BUSD, BNB, Ethereum, and DAI. So we're going to stick to USDT for this example, but we could also do the opposite. If we wanted to sell cryptocurrency, we would be selling USDT, BTC, BUSD, BNB, Ether, DAI, and we would be getting cash in our bank account. So we are going to buy some USD in the bank, and let's look at the different rates available. So the first person that came up has a rate of 1.020, and then we see the crypto amount. They have 1,099 USDT available, but they limit each order to between $50 and $900. Now the price, 1.020, that is his rate for the exchange. Binance P2P has no fees. It is a free service to use to facilitate trading between Binance users. Now, this 0.02, that just shows the rate that I'm going to get for every US dollar I spend. So that's a 2% markup on the rate of 1-to-1. So if I want 100 USDT, it's going to cost me 102 US dollars. Now, I found another merchant that I'm going to go with because they have the lower limit, and that's what I'm looking for the example in this video. And we are going to select buy. But before we do, you can see 1,894 trades, and 95% of trades initiated with this person have been completed. So I'm going to select buy, and we scroll down again, and we can see the terms. Only Zelle payment, Binance and Zelle account name should be the same. Fast transactions if valid. So easy enough. I am going to buy $50 worth of USDT, and we're going to go with buy crypto since that's easier. Then it's going to show us the USD rate of 51.75. That's how much it's going to cost us to get 50 USDT. And it disappeared because that 30 seconds ran out. So no problem. Going to put that in. 22 seconds left. Hit buy USDT. And now we have 15 minutes to pay the seller. So now we need the seller's information so we can transfer them money. Then we hit go to payment, and then we get the details on how to pay the merchant. So this is the tutorial, and it's going to walk us through this each time so you can understand it too. You're going to get this pop-up. Please transfer the fund to the seller via the payment information provided by the seller, and then I have the seller's name and email address. After transferring the funds, click on the transferred notify seller button. Okay, no problem. So I have the seller's information, and I'm going to go to my bank transfer method to send those funds now. After successfully sending the bank transfer, then you hit transferred notify seller. Releasing. If you have paid, contact the counterparty. After the seller confirmed the receipt of the fund, the system will automatically transfer the crypto to your account. So I have notified the seller. They are going to check their personal bank account to make sure they got the funds. And if everything looks good on their side, they are going to release the crypto to me. Binance is holding that crypto for this 15 minutes. And once the merchant approves the transaction, it's going to get released over to me, the buyer. After sending that payment, hit that chat window at the top right and check in with the merchant and make sure they are processing that transaction, and to see if there's any issues with the transfer. If they want like more information or there's an issue with the transfer, you need to go to the chat window and discuss with the merchant. On my side, they want a receipt of payment. So I was like, oh, okay, I just have to go into my account and take a screenshot, send it over. Got it. I didn't do it, but they released the funds, and you can see 50 USDT has been deposited into my Binance P2P wallet. Now, if I want to use those funds on the Binance exchange, I'm going to have to transfer them from my Binance P2P wallet to my spot wallet. Once funds are in my spot wallet, then we can start trading. I'll walk you through that right now. So from the homepage of the app, we're going to go to wallets, we're going to go to transfer, and then we want to move from our P2P wallet to our spot wallet. So since I already have P2P wallet in one of these, and we just want to move things over, just going to hit these arrows at the right, and it's going to swap them over. Now I can move the funds that were in my P2P wallet over to my spot wallet so I can start trading. So hit that drop down, and then we're going to look for USDT. And there it is. And now we can transfer funds. So I have 132 USDT available. If I move that to my spot wallet, I can start trading on the Binance exchange. How to sell crypto on Binance P2P. So from the app, we select P2P trading. It's this big button right here. But let's say the menu changes and you're looking for it. You go to more, scroll down to trade, and select P2P. And then we switch from buy to sell. And we have two options here. We have P2P and Express. Express just goes with the lowest rate for the payment method that you support. So we're just going to stick to this regular P2P menu so you can see everything and understand this menu. My currency is currently set to USD. If we select that, we can select from a lot of other different currencies. So select your currency. Once it's selected, we need to add a payment method. And you do that by selecting the three dots at the top right, payment methods, and then add a payment method. Here we have the recommended payment methods for the country I'm in, and then we can select a lot of different other payment methods if we select all payment methods at the bottom, and you can see there are a lot. There are a lot of different payment methods supported by Binance P2P. So if you have that set, we can sell some crypto. First of all, you need to have some crypto in your Binance account to sell. And since I'm selling against the US dollar, the USDT, BTC, BUSD, BNB, ETH, and DAI are supported. Now I have to filter by the payment method that I currently want to use, and it's Zelle. So I'm going to use Zelle for this video, and we are going to see what is available. So first off, we have the price. That is how much we're going to get per USDT that we're going to sell. I'm going to be selling USDT for the US dollar. And it's pretty much 1-to-1 for this first person, but the limits are high. So you can see that the crypto amount that they have available for buying is 1 million USDT. And the limits that we have to order are between 900,000 and 1 million. We can't support that. That is a lot of money, and it's so much that it's restricted. So we're going to skip that. We're going to keep scrolling down. I only want to do less than 100 US dollars, so I'm going to keep scrolling. And as you can see, the price keeps going down, and that is the exchange rate. So at 94 cents to the dollar, there is a 6% difference, and that money is going to the merchant. That is how much the merchant is charging for facilitating these trades. Binance P2P is a no-fee platform that just connects people. So scrolling further down, we're just going to find something that's a small amount that's acceptable to me. I'm going to go with this one where I'm getting 0.861 to the dollar. That's a 14% difference in price, but for the small amounts, I can do it. That's fine. So we're going to hit sell. And then at the top, we have a timer running. There's a 30-second timer for us to fill this out, or we can refresh it. Now, this is not going to make a difference when we are trading against stablecoins, but if you're trading against BNB, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, then there is going to be some price volatility and the rates need to get updated every 30 seconds, or you could refresh it yourself by hitting this little sideways arrow thing. So we have two options, buy fiat or buy crypto, and this will help calculate the price for you. And I want to sell 50 USDT. And the minimum is 58.07. That's because it's doing the conversion, including the fee the merchant is charging. So it would be easier for me to go buy fiat. So I'm going to select 50. And then it says for me to get those 50 US dollars, it's going to cost me 58 USDT. And it got erased. That's because the timer ran out, the price got refreshed, and I'd have to input that again. No problem. Just be aware of that situation, that it's going to happen. And if you want to keep those numbers up there, you are going to have to input it and hit sell before that 30 seconds runs out. So before we move forward, let's scroll down and look into the details. The payment window is 30 minutes. That means the merchant has 30 minutes to pay me, otherwise the transaction gets canceled. Then we have the seller's nickname. I'm the buyer, and that's my payment method, Zelle. So we can look at the terms, and at the bottom it says, verified merchant, trade with confidence, send me your email or phone number and full name, and I will process your payment as soon as possible. So I'm okay with that, and I'm ready to move forward. So we're gonna be in the buy fiat section, and we're gonna refresh the timer, so we have a little more time to fill this out. We're gonna put in 50, since that's the minimum, select payment method. I'm going to be using Zelle, and then I'm going to hit sell USDT. The trade has been initiated, and we can expect the payment to be received within 30 minutes. Now at the top right here, we're going to go to chat, and it says, hello, I'm waiting for your information to process your payment. So I'm going to send him my Zelle payment information so they can send me the funds. So after selecting that dropdown, we can see some critical information we need. We have the buyer's nickname, that's the merchant name that we saw, and then we have the buyer's real name. That buyer's real name is important because that has to match the name where we received the payment. It has to come from this specific name. If it comes from a different name, you should be very suspicious and you should refund that money and cancel the payment. Do not release the funds. This is the process. When you receive the funds, typically you are supposed to release the crypto to the merchant, but since the name doesn't match, you can refund the payment and say, we're canceling the order. The name doesn't match. That is a violation of the Binance P2P trading platform, and you can't have a payment from a third party. So there's me, Dan, and then there's this merchant, Jimmy, I'm gonna use that name, and then I received money from Walter. And I was like, who's Walter? He's not part of this trade? Did you hack this guy's account? Where'd this money come from? It should only come from Jimmy. So with P2P trading, I should only be dealing with that other person. There should not be a third party involved. And if there is a third party involved, do not release your crypto, refund the money, and cancel the order, and let Binance customer support know what happened. And within 5 minutes of that trade being initiated, I got a notification from Binance that the payment has been received. I checked my email and checked my bank account. You should really, don't check your email, check your bank account and make sure those funds are there. I have received those funds. I see the seller's name. So we're gonna go back into Binance and we're gonna release those funds. So I've confirmed that the merchant's real name in Binance matches the name that I received the funds from. So now I can release the funds. I've got the money. I can hit confirm receipt. Do not hit this unless you actually have that money in the bank and the name matches the merchant's name in Binance. So we're ready to move forward. Hit confirm receipt. Attention, please be sure to log into the receiving bank or wallet account to confirm that the money has arrived. I have done that. I see it here clearly, and I can confirm that the payment has been successfully received with the correct amount and sender information. Hit confirm. And now to release those funds, we still have to authenticate. Like, money can't just disappear from our Binance account. We have to go through the proper verification methods. And that's great because if someone gets a hold of my phone, I don't want them sending money to someone else. So I am ready to move forward, and we can either go with SMS authentication or Google Authenticator. I am going to go with Google Authenticator. Done. I have successfully sold 58 USDT for 50 US dollars in my physical bank. And that is how you sell with Binance P2P. How to become a Binance P2P merchant. You will have to apply and you will have to meet some requirements. There will be a link in the description if you want to learn more and go through that application process. So let me tell you what these requirements are. You must be a registered Binance user for at least 30 days. You must complete KYC and SMS authentication. You must complete at least 20 P2P orders. Your 30-day P2P completion rate must be 80% or higher. And you have to trade with 10 unique counterparties. You can't just be buying and selling from the same person just so you don't take advantage of the system. And it's a way for Binance to vet the merchants before allowing them to trade with any Binance user. Now, if you become a Binance P2P merchant, you can also become a Binance P2P cash merchant. That does come with different requirements. You would need a significant amount of experience with P2P orders and cash trades. You would need a physical office and the capacity to provide security deposits. 5 tips to stay safe when P2P trading. Number 1, use a unique email address. Do not use the same email address as your Binance account as the email that you provide to these merchants or buyers or sellers. You want that to be separate. So if you need an email address to set up with your bank account, make that a unique email address and not the same as your Binance account. Number 2, don't trade outside the Binance P2P platform. The Binance P2P platform is free to use and it's there to protect the Binance users. Don't let merchants lure you outside the Binance P2P platform. Since there are no fees, there's no reason to get off that platform other than losing your protection. So stay protected, stay safe, stay on the platform. Number 3, trade with merchants that have a lot of trades completed and a high completion rate. That is their reputation. With that reputation, you will likely have a good experience trading with that merchant. Number 4, make sure the merchant details match that Binance account. So each Binance merchant is going to have their real name, and that real name should match their bank account name. Now, if you receive money from someone else whose name does not match that at all, do not take that money. That is very risky, and you should not be dealing with these third parties. You are dealing directly with that person in this P2P trade. A third person should not be making or receiving these payments. That can be very questionable, and you should report that to Binance with the P2P customer service. And number 5, do not release the funds until you see the money in your bank account. If you are selling crypto and need to receive that money in your bank, do not release the funds until you see that money in your bank account. Now, maybe you'll get an email or a screenshot from the merchant. Don't trust them. You trust your bank account. You have to log into your bank account and make sure you have those funds before completing that transaction. If you complete that transaction and that money isn't in your account, Binance can protect you. There were several warnings about not releasing the funds until you've confirmed it in your bank account because the transaction will be marked as completed. If this video has been helpful, feel free to hit that like button. That just helps the video out. And if you don't already have the Binance app, there is a link to it in the description. Good luck P2P trading and stay safe. This has been a Binance video.